Welcome to the World News. I'm Randolf Jamias for today's global stories. First in the news, Mexican soldiers have discovered a drug smuggling tunnel being built under a suburban house in Nogales, Mexico, that was headed for Arizona, authorities said on Friday. The entrance of the tunnel was hidden behind a fake wall and extended for 110 meters but didn't cross the U.S. border. The passageway descended 4 meters into the ground and is equipped with lighting and ventilation. Mexican authorities found the tunnel after an anonymous tip-off that let police know the armed men were patrolling the residence. No arrests were made, but investigations continue. Moving on, the Bolivians call it Death Road, and not without reason. A busy dirt track winding down the Andes between La Paz and the tropical region of Yungas is one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Clinging to the sides of the mountains, it's used by buses and lorry drivers alike, and adventure-seeking tourists have even begun taking to its dizzy heights for a bit of fun on their bikes. Let's catch the thrill in this report.
Reversing on this narrow stretch of road is an incredibly delicate procedure. One false move and you could be over the mountain edge. A risk lorry driver Javier takes every day, and one which comes at a price.
We're paid more if we use this stretch of road because of its terrible reputation. It's known as Death Road. If you drive by Cochabamba, Santa Cruz, Oruro or Tarija instead, you don't get as much money.
With an annual death toll of about 100 on the most dangerous part of the road in 2007, something had to be done. The 80-kilometre stretch of track has now been concreted over, but dozens of deadly accidents still take place each year. The authorities say drivers simply aren't careful enough.
Many drivers and passengers travel regularly on this road, and they've never had any problems. That's because they made sure their vehicle was roadworthy and the driver was careful. Even on a dangerous road in bad weather conditions, by driving sensibly, accidents can be avoided.
Careful driving for some, the excitement of a challenge for others. These tourists have come to feel the thrill of biking around the Andes at an altitude of 3,000 meters.
I don't know how they ever drove on this. It's scary when you're on a bike that has wheels this wide. Never mind if you're on a big truck. No, that's too scary.
The entirety of Bolivia's so-called Death Road is due to be widened and concreted over by 2014, perhaps changing its fearsome reputation.
Meanwhile, a winter storm has swept across parts of Canada, disrupting the traffic and delaying flights. The storm dumped some 20 centimeters of snow on the Toronto region on Thursday before it moves towards Ottawa and Montreal.
Environment Canada said up to 50 centimeters of snow has fallen in Montreal. The roads were blanketed in deep snow and traffic came in halts across the region. Some people decided skiing was the best way to get about, while others attempted to catch buses on the icy road. Over 70 flights were canceled or delayed at Montreal's Trudeau Airport. Winter storm warnings are continuing in the place for parts of the southern Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, PEI, as well as Nova Scotia.
Next up in Vietnam, let's meet two cousins who have perfected a curious art form. It takes a lot of skill, precision, and patience to make them. But clay flowers have some big advantages over the fresh ones, and customers in the country's capital, Hanoi, seem to agree. Let's head to Hanoi and meet the artisans behind Yukiko Flower Shop, where business is blooming.
The Yukiko shop in Hanoi was the first in Vietnam to offer Japanese clay flowers. Tran Tu Lin and her cousin, Lei Thi Nyok Kun, pioneered the art form here. Tran Tu Lin is now creating a bunch of blue lily-of-the-valley flowers with clay. The raw clay is imported from Japan and comes in only one color, white. So the first step of making a clay flower is to mix the colors. Once the hues are blended, the clay is then modeled into the shape of a lily of the valley. Scissors, Pincers and a rolling pin are required to create the desired form. The rest of the clay is molded into petals. It takes patience and precision to delicately attach the pieces together with latex glue. Finally, the flower comes to life. Lee Jin-Yok-Kyun went to study in Japan in 1995. Tran Tu Lin joined her cousin a few years later. In 2005, the two women returned to Vietnam, bringing the clay flower technique with them. After 2 years of receiving orders from Japanese customers, they decided to open a shop and serve more people. Hundreds of varieties of flowers are now available at Yukiko. Many of the customers here choose to buy clay flowers over fresh flowers. They often buy them as gifts for friends or relatives, to give on birthdays, anniversaries, or other special occasions.
My friend introduced me to this shop. Since then, I've been coming here frequently and buying stuff for my family and friends. These clay flowers are very beautiful, and they last longer than the real ones.
On holidays, the Yukiko shop is flooded with orders from in and outside the country.
This tiny pot of clay flowers was made of lunar clay, the traditional Japanese clay. We also use the new material hearty clay, which is lighter and more durable. Hearty clay is suitable for making big pots of flowers. Many people think they're real.
Though they might not have the sweet smell of real flowers, clay flowers are increasingly popular because of their durability and beauty. Kuhn and Lin have started traveling back and forth from Japan to Vietnam to come up with new models and learn new techniques that will bloom back home in Vietnam.
Now in China, the northwest Qinghai province is also holding a snow and ice festival, the first ever. Thousands of tourists are heading there to enjoy the fun of the winter. Here's more.
It costs 4 million yuan to build this entertainment park as large as 200 Olympic-sized pools. Organizers have put together events for local culture, sports and sightseeing. They say they want to encourage more people to participate in winter sports and build up their resistance. Jiaton is located on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau and is home to several ethnic minorities. It's a famous tourist spot. The local government hopes the 3-month festival will boost the county's popularity and tourism.
In sports news, world number 1 Novak Djokovic eased past David Ferrer of Spain in straight sets on Friday to advance to the final of the Mubadala World Tennis. The Serb defeated the world number 5 6-0, 6-3 in his first match of the new season to reach the final of the exhibition tournament. Djokovic booked his place in Saturday's final against Nicolas Almagro of Spain with a forehand winner.
I'm surprised with my game, considering the fact it's just the first match basically of the official season for me. So hopefully I can play another one tomorrow.
Race favorites Wild Oats, the 11th, clinched their 6th Sydney to Hobart yacht race on Friday, beating their own race record. Skipper Mark Richards said that the record just popped up and that there was a last-minute scare when the wind dropped and the crew were worried they might stop just short of the finish line. Last year's winners, Ragamuffin Loyal, were about 50 nautical miles from the finish line in second place when Richards and his crew crossed the line. Super Maxi Lahana were in third place, about 50 nautical miles behind Ragamuffin.
Our whole goal was just to get as far in front of Law as we can. We just didn't want to be in the same situation as last year, so it's just one of those things. And the boat, we were averaging probably close to 10% quicker than him throughout the whole race, I think. And it was really satisfying. The boys were just pushing the whole time, and then all of a sudden the record sort of popped up, and he said, God, we might have a chance with these guys. And all the way to the finish. It was looking good, even though it went really light there. We thought, God, I think we could stop right in front of the finish line like it's happened before and lose it, but we got there, so it was great.
And that's the first half of our stories. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly.